So you talk about like the common legacies of trauma. Is that the right phrase?
That would, yeah. There are legacies of trauma.
What are those?
One of the saddest ones, and I even feel verklempt saying this, is how it corrupts our trust.
Uh,
You know,
yeah.
and what that does to our brain is that it keeps us hypervigilant. We're always looking for, am I safe? Am I not safe? Am I safe? Am I not safe? And that's kind of a sad way to have to go through life, to always live out of that filter. Where's my safety? Where's my safety? Where's the threat? Where's the threat? You know?
Yeah.
So then that takes me to, it prevents us from being present. You know, we can't be present to our life when we're still in the past trying to avoid what hurt us when we were little.
This is random, but the anxiety of being around people. What's that?
Social anxiety?
Thank you. Social anxiety.
Yeah.
That feels like a form of trauma. Am I safe or am I not safe?
Well, it's funny you should say that. I had a guy come in a couple of months ago, and someone said, go see Voge, you know. And he had social anxiety, and he'd been to therapist where, you know, he wasn't getting any results. And of course they want to medicate him, you know. And he thought I was going to talk about social anxiety and symptom management and how to handle it, you know. I took him into his childhood where he had memory after memory that no one had ever talked to him about how practically every time he opened up his mouth, what do you know, stupid?
Right.
I don't have time to listen to you. He was dismissed, overlooked, you know.
Yeah.
And through releasing, he got neutral. And that by the third session, I got an email. I went to a party. Someone asked my opinion. I gave it. It was fun.
Which is seems so simple for some, but I guess they don't have that trauma, the trauma that makes you not feel you deserve
You
to
learn
be
how to shut your throat down. You learn how to become invisible.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's like, oh, you were at that party? I didn't even see you there.
Right.
I was there. I didn't know you were there. Yeah, because that's how the adaptive child learned to survive. So let me just go to the other legacy
Yes.
of trauma. And I relate to this one very much. It creates an expectation that you're supposed to bear the unbearable. And I know I did that when I was 9 years old. I lost my leg. And I looked around and I didn't see anybody who was equipped to deal with it. So I figured out I better deal with this on my own, you know?
Right.
So I was going to be the best one-legged kid, the best amputee. I was going to rock it, you know, was on cheerleaders, you know, president of my class, every one of them, you know, that kind of thing. It convinces you that you're supposed to be some kind of a Superman, Superwoman, which is an unrealistic expectation, so that when a delicious challenge shows up and you don't know how to handle it, you go into shame.
Mm.
And that's another symptom of trauma.
The adaptive child bearing the unbearable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Can you have trauma and not know it?
I had trauma and didn't know it.
Right.
I mean, to make that point, you know, like I often say to my clients, I lost my leg when I was 9 years old, but I didn't find out till I was 30.
Right.
And that's really, you know, it sounds like an overrepresentation, but it wasn't until, well, I'll share another little vulnerable story here. It wasn't until I married Hugh, you know. Interestingly enough, I thought I could bear the unbearable, but I always was afraid that I would go crazy one day. Why would that be?
Right.
Because I was holding a lot. I was bearing a lot. And it wasn't until we were married our first year, I had a breakdown, first year of marriage. Because finally I was in a safe place. I had a safe listening, a safe heart that I could fall into. who I could unbear it with and witness it.
Oh, wow.
And that was the big opening to my path in healing myself and curating what I embody now to help others.
That's amazing.
Well, having that listening, gave me the ability to be present to whatever suffering someone's going through.